The sun is the same in a relative way, but you're older? Welcome to Pink Floyd, the podcast where we watch every movie ever made to see if it syncs up with Pink Floyd's 1973 magnum opus, The Dark Side of the Moon. My name is Gareth Blackler, and joining me is James Barron.
Hi there, Big Bear Baron, James Barron, coming at you live through the airwaves. How's it going, Gareth, friend of mine? What's up?
It's going well, yeah. You know.
Oh, yeah?
Sipping some water.
Yeah.
Playing with a blue pen. What more does a boy need?
I have water here as well, just in case. I am drinking a beer in the meantime, but if things get too dangerous, I can move on to water if need be. But
yeah.
Yeah.
If you suddenly end up younger, you've got water to remain legal.
Yeah, thank goodness. Yeah, the cops aren't going to bust my door down.
Yeah.
Amazingly, no underage drinking that I'm aware of in the movie that we watched, Big. It's talked about, but yeah. 1988's Big with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Tim?
Tom Hanks, enemy of the show.
Enemy of the state, enemy of everyone. And I feel like maybe, based on the two movies that we've watched on Pink Floyd, definitely he's 0 for 2 in terms of like good person ratio. What is going on?
Yeah.
Maybe everyone else doesn't understand Tom Hanks and he's actually this person.
Well, I'm wondering... So yeah, obviously Tom Hanks is known as being the nicest person in Hollywood.
Yeah.
He's like, America's dad. People love him. I think Pink Floyd, the music of Pink Floyd, when you hear it while watching Tom Hanks, it cancels it out. It's like, so you know how certain candles, you light them to get rid of certain smells?
Sure, yeah.
Pink Floyd are the candle to Tom Hanks. They just stop him. They're the anti-Hanks.
The anti-Hanks.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, that's... Poor Tom. I feel like, it's because it's like Pink Floyd have such dad energy to begin with, and so does Tom Hanks. And they must cancel each other out in some kind of like zero-sum game scenario where they end up both looking bad at the end of the day.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But...
I think we've definitely stumbled on this, and it'd be interesting because if you Google Tom Hanks Pink Floyd, all you get is the fact that Miley Cyrus performed Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd on an SNL episode that Tom Hanks hosted.
Cool.
And it'd be interesting to watch that and see that, like, that's got to be the closest the two have come so far.
Yeah.
Before we entered the game.
I mean, yeah.
And, like, it'd be, interesting to see, like, does Tom Hanks recoil? Does he reveal his reptilian form when Pink Floyd is played?
Backstage at SNL, he was, like, morphing, and the cast and crew were freaking out trying to get that under control so they could go back on stage for the, like, wrap-up at the end of the show, the final sketch.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Just whiling out while Miley's singing Wish You Were Here. I really want to hear that cover now, by the way.
Yeah, Miley Cyrus, amazing singer. She'd nailed that.
Yeah, I heard her doing a Blondie song the other day and she fucking nailed it. But, no, that sounds, I'd be interested to hear that. I'm going to look that up after the show. But
nice.
We can't do that now, Gareth. We've got our task to do, our God-given contract that was laid before us and we signed, and we have to talk about how Big synced up with Dark Side of the Moon, as is our want, as is what we do on the show. And
did you say our pod-given contract?
I wish I had, because that's way better. That's what it is from now on.
Yeah.
Praise pod. Praise Beta pod. No, I'm ready to talk about it if you are.
I'm ready to talk about it.
Yeah, 1988, Big. Feel like, these 80s movies, right?
Yeah.
None of them are looking that hot these days. There's a lot of problematic shit from the 80s that's just made it into movies, and they're just gonna keep cropping up. I feel like it's gonna be a trend.
For sure.
In some of these classics.
But this one is so brazen about how horrific it is. Like, and yet no one talks about it. Everyone just talks about how this is like a beloved childhood classic.
Yeah. Man, a
And I'm
childhood
not
classic.
saying like we're going to be the ones who speak truth to Big, but like we kind of, I don't know, because I'd never seen it. You'd never seen
No,
it.
yeah. So no history, no previous history on this flick.
Yeah.
Just chosen, plucked from the ether and put onto the show,
Yeah.
as we sometimes do. Yeah. But yeah, I'm ready.
But I don't know. It's not like the stuff that, I mean, we'll get to it, but like the stuff that happens in this, I don't feel like it was ever okay outside of the world of this film, really.
No, I hope.
Like-
I really hope not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's talk about.
Yeah.
Let's dive into Big and see unravel the mystery of what is going on here. All right. 3, 2, 1. Saying this. The movie starts as we want. Speak to me. Has this ever happened to you, Gareth? When you're standing in the cavern of an evil ice wizard, and all around you are carcasses of slain ice dwarves? Mate, there's only one solution that I can offer in this situation, and that's to melt the wizard. What is the start of this movie about? We're getting some like ColecoVision-esque text adventure game that is on screen where Josh is playing this video game, and yeah, he's punching in to melt this wizard. I don't know why this movie starts this way. It's the most random thing.
Yeah.
I do love it.
Interestingly, the same, like, there's a weird video game start to You've Got Mail as well.
Oh yeah, like flying through the desktop background screensaver video space of the Earth and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
I
is...
wonder, like, if something Tom Hanks likes is he likes to start you off with a bit of digital tomfoolery.
Yeah, a bit of tomfoolery for old Tom.
Yeah. Digital Hanks foolery.
What is he like? Goodness me. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
This one feels a lot more rooted in reality, and that this could be a real like text adventure game. I'm not sure if it is or not. I do appreciate it though. This is exactly my kind of shit, in that it's like
for sure,
way over the top. This wizard has a little jacket made of like eyes all over it. And I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the parents are calling to Josh and trying to get him to take his trash out, and he wastes time because this is a time limit based game, and his poor character gets frozen by the ice wizard. And that's how we start this movie. And I'm like,
yeah,
that's a short film in of itself. Honestly, we could turn it off here and just feel better about it. But yeah. Anyway, we've got a whole movie going ahead. We've got this is our intro to Josh. Him hanging out with his mate Billy, who is the proto Billy. Really, like if you imagine an American school kid called Billy, it's this guy. It's perfect casting and perfect acting by young Billy here. And they're just doing the average middle school kid thing in America, you know, hanging out, chewing gum and trading cards and being really gross about girls. Yeah, that's what they're all about. It's
very bizarre. Like, this whole movie has struggles with how old you're supposed to act at 13.
I guess so,
or 12, which is, you know, something we all learned when we were deep in our Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Like, it's, and I think it's to its weakness, like, because they're very much like, they're kids. Well, no, actually, these guys are, you know, like horny teens, essentially.
Yeah, they're on the cusp of becoming teenagers, right, at this point. That's the like impetus of this movie, is that Josh is sort of he's starting to want to be a grown-up. He's figuring out that he's like, okay, I'm a teenager now. I want to become like a cool teen and learn the ways of growing up. He's ready for that, but his body isn't catching up, or everyone else or society around him isn't catching up to where he's at, which is a common issue with old puberty. That's just how that goes.
That's true, yeah.
You know, so yeah. But
it's pretty unfair that puberty is such a big change that doesn't, like, it happens in such surprising times. Like, it never happens at the same time. And it's like, it's when you want it the most.
Oh, no.
When you're, like, the most anxious.
Yeah. Yeah, like, it's rough going, but that's just what everybody has to go through, you know? Like, I can't speak to puberty, really. Like, we've done that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to unravel. I don't want to ask you the question, what was puberty like for you, Gareth?
Yeah.
That's a well that I don't want to delve down into. Mainly just out of self-defense. But,
I definitely my voice dropped a little later than everyone else's, so I finished intermediate school with a beautiful flute of a voice.
oh, yes.
And then started high school with my definitive beautiful baritone that the listeners are used to.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
The radio voice that we all crave, yeah.
Yeah. It was an interesting summer for little Garthy B.
Dude, I was so far behind that. I wasn't done with puberty until 15, 16, man. I was a late bloomer. I was up there in high school with the fucking sign on my knees, up there, up front row in the school photo with all the girls flanking me, man. Yeah. So
that's right.
yeah, it's rough stuff. It was weird because I was the tiny short child among you with your deep voice and everyone else surpassing me. And then all of a sudden it got to year 11 or whatever, and I came back after the summer holidays and I'm like, oh, now I'm a man.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
I do miss that. I do miss a summer holiday being your chance to completely change who you are. And the fact your body would also make that decision for you. Nah, man, this summer we're getting gangly.
Yeah, we're stuck with what we got now. It's just this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just this, but slowly deteriorating over time. It's like a time lapse of a fruit decaying.
Yeah.
But that's what we have to look forward to, and that's what Josh grapples with in this film.
Yeah.
It becomes very art house, and we just see him slowly grow old and then die.
Oh God.
God, that's a really bleak take on Big that I'm glad doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But we're 2 minutes into the film and we need to get back. Now that we've covered our own puberty experience. Yeah, so there's girls that show up outside while they're chewing gum outside the arcade or whatever, and there's Cynthia, the girl here, who is clearly ahead of the rest. She has big Cynthia the doll energy from Rugrats, honestly. She's rocking a side pony, and it just exudes confidence to the same level that Cynthia the doll did for me. So there you go. But yeah, they're this casual, the classic he said, she said about Cynthia liking Josh or whatever, classic stuff.
Yeah.
And then what happens is what can only be described. These boys start rolling down the street back to Josh's house because they're next door neighbors, Billy and Josh.
Yeah.
And they just start bloody crimping, Gareth. For those uninitiated, crimping is a Mighty Boosh thing where they just have this elaborate rhyme song that they both know the words to and sing together in sync. And they straight up have one. That's their own little secret thing. And it becomes relevant later.
It's even the same way they use crimping in Mighty Boosh.
Totally.
Where it's to, remind you that we're friends, so we'll sing a little friend song.
Yeah. It's adorable.
Oh, wow.
It's a full-on crimp in a film in 1988, so...
Yeah.
There you go.
Young Noel Fielding's watching this and that's genius. That was a terrible Noel Fielding.
That's pretty good. I like that a lot. Little did he know.
Julian Barrett's oh, you watching this film with me, sir?
Yeah.
It's slightly better, but he's less iconic an impression.
I was more impressed with Julian Barrett there, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Little does Noel know that he's going to end up on Bake Off one day. Just eating cakes for a living. What a dream job.
Yeah.
Amazing. But yes, so they have a wee chat over some two-way radios. These guys are best friends. They're hanging out, having a chat, talking about how Cynthia likes Josh or whatever, and it's all good. And then, we cut to a fun fair for On the Run begins here.
Yeah.
Premium On the Run vibe in a fun fair, honestly. The chaotic energy of a fun fair. I always am vaguely afraid of them as a concept. Have you ever been to the fun fair, Gareth, or been to a carnival or anything of the sort like that?
Oh, heck yeah. I've been to, what are they called? AMP shows? Like, where you get to, like, look at some llamas and some sheep and then go on, like, a rusty Ferris wheel that's older than your dad.
That's so true. That is the grassroots version of the funfair of America, absolutely, yeah. That's the New Zealand equivalent, the AMP show, where you can go...
I had a,
Where you can go on a rusted ride and also see various, like, livestock just on show.
If you've ever been upside down and then looked at a horse, you've lived in New Zealand and been to an AMP show.
Wow. Man, is there a full-on roller coaster at the AMP show that you went to? Damn.
I feel like there must have been. I do remember going on some sort of ride with my brother and him like going, "This is great, middle mouth." And I didn't even have braces, so I don't know why he called me that.
Oh, wow. That's
one of my great roller coaster mysteries.
That's messed up. I don't understand what that... Maybe it was like a premonition and he saw you doing the time lapse growing up. That was his view of everyone coming onto his ride. He's that fierce of an empath that he understands these people as they come on. Yeah, he's a great judge of character.
I look over and it's actually Zoltar.
Oh God,
ride with me.
Oh yeah, we're about to get to him. But we've got some stuff to do before we get there. There's like various activities here at the fun fair that Josh tries to get involved in. There's like the classic. I do like that they do the like strongman hammer thing. What would you describe?
Yeah.
Is that how you would describe that? That's the best I got, really. I don't know what...
Yeah, absolutely. Strongman hammer thing.
Yeah, I don't know what that's officially called, but, you know, you hit the button and then a little thing goes up and hits the bell if you're a strong-ass dude with the hammer, you know. You know the one, listeners.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's various, like, activities set up to emasculate Josh, effectively. So he's not very good at this, and then there's this huge guy that gets on behind him and does the hammer thing, you know. And then he goes to... try and get on this roller coaster by cutting into line. He cuts into line the worst way I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Who does this? He like comes like from the back of the line, past through everyone. Like if you're going to cut into line, stealth into the line from the side. Everyone's going to see you anyway. But if you fucking like come from the back, what? That's sure to enrage everyone, officially.
Yeah.
Like, even if...
Like, there's also so much space around the line that he could have, like, come from the side, but instead he putts them like a weird Moses.
Yeah, it's not good. I guess he's still learning and figuring things out, but, like, I don't know. He's got the strength to part all these people and push up to Cynthia, who's in line anyway.
Yeah.
But, yeah, immediately gets wrecked by Cynthia's whole... misunderstanding Cynthia's intentions here.
Yeah.
As another guy, an older person comes along, probably around 15, 16, I don't know, comes along, and Cynthia's like, this guy, he drives, as his like key factor, his key defining characteristic is that he drives. And so, there you go. Josh is out of the running. And he also, insult to injury, gets turned away from the roller coaster for being too short. There's a cardboard cutout of a chicken telling him that he's too short, with his hand up. You ever been too short for a ride?
No, I had the opposite problem to you. I was incredibly tall,
right.
And then started getting to a normal height, and then had a second growth spurt.
Oh my god!
Yeah, headed back up again
into the stratosphere.
Yeah, I was just too cowardly for any
There's
ride.
a second chicken who's saying that you're too tall. Yeah. It is a safety thing. I've had this explained to me as someone who used to be incredibly short. Like this was very dear to my heart. I've been here. I could relate to Josh deeply in this scenario. But yeah, it's a safety thing. If you go on a roller coaster and you're too short, there's a chance you could slip through the old safety clamp things that you get clamped into, you know, and fall out.
Oh, okay.
So that's why, you know.
Yeah.
It's totally reasonable, honestly, but yeah. Or at least that's how it is explained to me to make me feel better, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, since this, he goes off, and him getting turned away from the roller coaster perfectly aligns with the crash sound and On the Run.
Yeah.
Gareth, ideal. Into it.
Which is great as well because, you know, On the Run's kind of been the theme for the excitement of the
fun fair.
Fun fair, yeah. And now it's like, nah, crash, it's over.
Crashing and burning, yeah. He's at his
Yeah.
lowest and wanders over past all these people having fun. And the time clocks are coming in. We're getting the ticking of the clocks, and then they all go off where Josh arrives at this haunted Zoltar machine.
Yes.
So I want to clearly describe this machine. It's like a fortune-telling kind of box with a like man in a turban inside, and he opens and closes his mouth in sequence, and you're supposed to like guide a coin through a coin slot down a little ramp so that it goes into his mouth, and then you make a wish. If you get it in his mouth, you're allowed to make a wish, and then it spits out a little card telling you whether your wish is granted or not, which is a fairly rudimentary design for a like funfair thing. It's fairly believable as a thing. However, this whole thing is so Goosebumps. Like, it's this like little like the way this is introduced. There's all this like creepy synth music in the background and stuff that we would be hearing, but we're hearing old mate time. And then fucking there's like the machine isn't plugged in. It's got these glowing red superimposed eyes over top of its real eyes. It feels like this is an episode of the Goosebumps TV show that's come to life and is now a feature film, you know? Anyway.
Yeah. I wonder, there must be some sort of like pull that has given us all the inspiration of R.L. Stine and then the inspiration of this movie and other like the similar vibe of 80s, 90s creepies.
Yeah.
Like, there must be a single person who's decided like synth music, superimposed glowing eyes, keep it relatively normal so a kid would go there and
yeah, like weird synth like low tones and it must be there must be like a founding document. I hope it's Goosebumps, but I don't know if it is.
What would be amazing is if R.L. Stine and Penny Marshall, the director, turns out they went to the same summer camp and heard the same boy tell them a scary story around the fire.
And that camp, it was Camp Jelly Jam. Whoa! No! Oh no. Yeah. So.
And the boy who told him that story was Jason from Friday the 13th.
I love that.
Yeah.
He's just in the mask, like hanging out. Yeah, that's very good. But yes, so Josh is like, this is sweet. I love this haunted machine. This is really cool. And so he makes the wish that he wants to be big, which is a very vague wish. And it could be interpreted in a number of ways, Gareth. There is a version of this movie where he just becomes like 50 foot tall, but is still a child.
Yeah.
And like, that's a whole nother movie. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Equally scary.
There's another one where he's just like very famous all of a sudden.
Oh, right. I like that.
But he's not sure what for.
The most famous child.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh man, Josh, I love your work. And he's like, what? Everyone
just what you did on that maths quiz last week. We love it. We're huge fans.
Oh, that's terrifying in its own way. The pressure, the haunting pressure of being known. God. Oh man. But yes, he makes this wish and is like, oh well, I got a cool card out of the situation. He collects cards, so it's probably sweet. But yeah, ends up going home and we see some like ghostly wind over the neighborhood. Which I really enjoy. This whole thing is so Goosebumps. It's great. And then we get in the time lyrics over this sequence of him waking up in the morning, and it's just never fit better over anything in my life. Then one day you'll find 10 years have got behind you. No one told you when to run. I mean, come on, man. Like, this is what Big's all about. Suddenly becoming an adult. You know? Come on.
Yeah.
It's good. We see some adult legs walking to the old bathroom. The adult legs of Tom Hanks as he sees himself in the mirror. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, it talks through the door to his mum. Like, but he's got that deep Tom Hanks voice as Gareth post-puberty. Yeah. It's a harrowing adventure here. Like, I can see this all being written out and like having to deal with this newfound situation, you know. But yeah, he's got to like steal clothes from his dad, and then like manages to sneak away to like run back to the carnival, but of course the carnival's gone, you know.
Yeah.
So what is he gonna do, right? Like I do like him like racing away on his little like BMX bike equivalent and getting there and just driving around in a circle for a little bit. It's like, no.
Yeah.
And then we get into Get Great Gig, and we return home for a harrowing sequence. This is where
holy shit.
Yeah, so this sucks. This is the first part of the movie that is no good and has not carried over to be like a fun comedy romp in any way. So he returns home, and like his mum sees him in his adult Tom Hanks form and thinks that he's like an insane home invader.
Yeah.
And he's trying to convince her that he's her son, and like is showing like his birthmark on the back of his leg and stuff, and like acting really weird and panicked. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's a horrible scenario.
She's holding a knife and whispering like, please don't, please don't, please don't.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm wearing your husband's clothes and your son's underwear.
Yeah, you know, like normal people do. It's awful. Basically, she thinks that this man has like kidnapped her son and it has invaded her home to like taunt her. He's clearly insane and is like messing with her. And he runs away screaming over what is a harrowing sequence. In the movie, this is played for laughs. There's like full-on like comedic music playing. It's not supposed to be scary at all, but damn.
Yeah, you get a bit of Pink Floyd under this and you are shocked.
Yeah, this was Great Gig. Like the slow, sad sequence of like, they're already resigned to the fact that this is a no good situation. The boys in the Floyd. They're like, this doesn't hold up, friends. They're saying, they're trying to warn us over the airwaves. Yeah. Oh man.
See, this was a problem I had with the summer of Stranger Things, when we all loved Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Like, Stranger Things is great, but I found Winona Ryder such a good actress that her playing the storyline about her son going missing, I couldn't enjoy the fun, sci-fi mystery. I was just like, this poor woman's life is ruined.
Yeah.
And it's the same for this. It's just like, this woman's life is ruined, and it's treated as just the, like, easy plot device so we don't have to worry about his parents, where his parents are probably, like, deep into a police investigation for the next 6 weeks. Yeah.
You're so right. Like, that is such a well-acted character. She fucking nails it. And if it was just her character, like, carrying the whole of Stranger Things, it would be, like, this horrendous, heart-wrenching, like, drama, instead of this like fun 80s romp that we know and love, right? Like, it would just be such a completely different vibe. Oh,
it would be amazing though.
That is a great comparison.
Oh, thank you. It would be amazing if Stranger Things, he got bigged and like it's just an adult walking around and it's just like at the end you realize, no, that was me. I'm bigged now.
Yeah, that would not be okay. I'm the big one now.
Or like a Bridgerton kind of, no, not Bridgerton, Broadchurch kind of thing, where it's like a gritty drama about like a child abduction, but the child's just been bigged and is just working at like the office down the street now.
Oh no, that's the side plot. Yeah, that would be awful. Oh, a great twist, but like everyone would be like, what? Okay. Yeah. I
like the office conversations after the final episode.
I do love the idea of like 2 TV shows happening in parallel though. Like, and you don't realize that they're connected until the last episode in that way. Like, one of the shows is this like comedy, like big scenario, and the other one's Broadchurch. And on the last episode, you realize they're the same universe.
That would be amazing.
Right?
Yeah, I'm surprised that isn't happening yet.
That'd be sweet. Hollywood, hit me up. Come on.
Yeah.
But yes, we've got to get back. Let's get back to Billy. Here he is in the gym. getting pelted with basketballs.
Yeah.
I do love that just everyone in the crowd is holding different, like, sized basketballs for some reason, and they all throw them at Billy. Oh, it's a very good thing.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so Josh is like, the next port of call, since his mum thinks he's a home invader, goes and sees his best friend. And, like, Billy equally freaks out, starts panicking. And because this is a situation involving a 30-year-old man and a child, like, locked inside a, like, gymnasium, like, storeroom, this is equally fucked. Like,
Yeah.
it's a terrible situation that is handled, like, not very well. But luckily, Josh knows his crimp. He's saved by the crimp. He does his little performance for Billy, and Billy's like, oh shit, he knows all the words. This must be my friend Josh, because they only know it. It's their secret thing that they know from each other. So there you go.
Yeah.
The crimp can save lives. It saves terrible, harrowing situations from occurring. But yeah, so he realizes that it's that it's Josh. I do love that he says, Josh, you look terrible, man. Because he's like now a 30-year-old Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks looks great, by the way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Very young in this movie. Looking very, very attractive. Good looking guy, Tom Hanks.
Amazing head of floppy hair.
Yeah, full on floppy hair.
Yeah. What a stunner.
What a stunner. Star stunner. It's too bad your character's really creepy. Again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Billy decides, like, it's like, okay, I gotta help my friend out because he's now this adult man trapped, a child trapped in an adult man's body. He's fully on board with this. And he goes and grabs some stuff from his house. And as he's leaving his house, we see that, that Josh's house has turned into like a full-on crime scene investigation. There's like police and the whole neighborhood's gathered around and they're like talking to Josh's mum, who's obviously distraught. Her son has completely disappeared. It's awful. And this is all just like the background of one shot. This is just happening on the sidelines of this movie. I can't. I can't. I can't handle it. But yeah, that is sure is happening. Again, I guess this is just played for laughs in the movie. I don't really know. But yeah, there's a whole different side from Josh's mum's point of view. But yeah, the plan is that they go to New York City, baby, because this is set in New Jersey at the moment. And so they go into New York City to find a hotel for Josh to stay in. They go through Times Square, and there's this guy, like a homeless guy or someone on the spectrum of some kind, and he's just walking around saying, "Kill the bitch, kill her with a knife, kill the bitch," and he's in the middle of Times Square, like. I feel like that wouldn't happen. Like
that wouldn't happen in Times Square now, for sure.
No way.
But yeah,
maybe 80s Times Square.
Maybe in '86.
I don't know. Like
I don't know.
It's pretty rough. This guy.
Like now, he'd only be doing that if he's trying to sell you his CD.
Yeah.
And you put the CD in, and it's just him going, "Kill a bitch, kill a bitch."
I mean, I'll buy it. It sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Just him like doing some breakbeat raps.
Yeah.
But it's all about doing murders. You know, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that I'd buy that. Too late now. Yeah.
Now someone's going to lock you in on it. It's like, I heard you on a podcast saying you were going to buy this CD, so I made it for you.
And that's why you can't be Prime Minister, James.
Yeah.
You got me. Release the tapes. Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. They go to this like awful neighborhood with like this scary hotel and book a hotel room for Josh to stay in. We get into money playing, and they start discussing bloody money for the paying for the hotel room. Yeah, that's good. That's a sync.
Yeah.
So fucking they go up to the room and do all that stuff, and Billy's hanging out. I just feel bad for Billy in this situation.
For sure.
He has to walk back through this like really rough neighborhood. He was with an adult before, but now he's alone. It's probably like 9 p.m. in the middle of New York City, and he's got to get back to New Jersey on the subway or whatever. Like, I'm just scared for him. He's a 13-year-old boy, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, poor Billy.
Yeah.
He seems
you're right.
he seems okay.
Why did they go to New York? I'm sure
I
they
don't
could have
know.
stayed in Jersey. Like-
That's just probably just like kid logic, right? Like
Yeah.
Billy would have gotten a hotel room in New York when they were like visiting someone or something in the past, and he's like, that's just where the hotels are, you know? Like
Yeah,
that's where
exactly.
you go. And then
That's true. He's never had to go to a hotel in his home state.
No.
So he's just like, yeah, we've got to go to where hotels are.
I don't think there's any hotels in New Jersey, so we've got to go to New
Yeah.
York, at least not in my experience. So yeah. But yeah, I'm just worried about Billy's well-being, basically, in the following scenes. But yeah.
Especially because he keeps coming back and forth. I'm worried about Billy's wallet, really.
Far out, yeah. How much money did he steal from his dad? We missed that. He stole some money from his dad as like it's from his dad's emergency fund kept in a closet or whatever, just to fund Josh's like escape project. But yeah, like how much money has Billy got? Is he doing like how much allowance this boy get? I don't know. But yeah, he's able to go on the tube to New York City all the time, so to visit his adult friend. But yeah,
surely at some point Josh starts paying for it.
I hope so. God,
yeah,
gives him a little bit of a stipend, a little bit of money to
per diem.
Yeah,
he's got a lunch.
I mean, he deserves it. He's helping him out massively by hiding his like weird situation, his Goosebumps book unfolding onto him. Like he's helping him out massively. But yeah, anyway, this hotel room is an absolute pit. It's a terrible situation. Billy tells him to use the chain to keep people out, and I agree with that. Josh doesn't spring into action and put the bloody chain on, though, as soon as he leaves, which frustrated me. He was given like clear advice and then didn't follow it until later when he heard like a bloody gunshot outside. Come on, Josh. What do you like?
Yeah, listen to Billy.
Billy knows his stuff. He can survive in New York in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
He's a child.
He probably went out and helped his other friends who have had interesting curses put on them.
Yeah, he's going to see like his mate who's turned into a frog just in the schoolyard after this. Billy's he's just out there trying to solve various occult crimes.
Yeah, he's popping down into the sewers to hang out with Chud.
Yeah, you know, like, just leave Billy alone. Look after... I want to protect Billy at all costs. He's a shining light in this movie, so...
Yeah. He also was, like, one of the first people cast.
Oh, really?
Billy. Yeah, and they tested the adult actors against him, so he's, rehearsed with Sean Penn and I think Robin Williams and Robert De Niro.
Whoa! I mean, that tracks. Billy is perfect for this role. Like, we said that earlier, and that makes total sense to me, that they were like, they found this guy, and they're like, yep, this guy's Billy. He's always been Billy.
Yeah.
Let's test him against bloody Robert De Niro. Are you good enough, sir, to go up against Billy? I don't know. So there you go. Man, this would be such a different movie with Robert De Niro at the helm.
Oh, heck
if he was big, oh no. What kind of child would they have to cast to have someone turn into Robert De Niro? Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's interesting as well. So Tom Hanks got the child who they cast to perform the scenes before he would, and he'd just kind of do what the kid did.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. It kind of... You could argue it takes away from this being like Tom Hanks' amazing performance, which was Academy Award nominated.
Right.
Because it was really the kid's amazing performance that Tom Hanks just deep faked.
I mean, that's still very impressive. And being able to like follow that kind of like direction through another actor, like copy what they're doing and like handle it in the same way. Because that would have been coming from a like much more genuine place from the child actor.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So... That's impressive in its own right, if you ask me. So, yeah, full credit to Tom Hanks for that. Probably well deserved.
Okay.
As messed up as this movie is, I've got to give you props for it being well acted. You know.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But yes, this is a very scary situation.
Yes.
You were about to say something. Sorry.
No, don't worry. Yeah, Tom Hanks just has a little cry as the men Men off screen yell about money, and another man, David Gilmour of Pink Floyd, yells about money off screen as well.
Yeah, man, we're all yelling about money. That's just adult life, I think.
Yeah, that's adulthood.
Yeah. little does Tom Hanks know that it's all about money, and we're all yelling about it constantly. It's very bleak, honestly, seeing him sitting in that chair and then like lying down and just weeping. They hang on it for a long time as well. It's like, it's a very honest like performance. It's very good. I was very impressed by it. Very sweet. Poor old Josh. But anyway, he survives the night, and the following day they go down and track down various like arcades and things where they might be able to find this Zoltar machine, this fabled cursed object out there in New York City. And they don't get very far, and so they go to the government or the council or whatever this is, and put in a claim to ask about all the fears that have been around New York and the region, New Jersey. But it's going to take 6 weeks to get the information. So they're crushed by that knowledge. They're like, 6 weeks? It's a lifetime in kid years. You know, like that's ages. They can't even fathom it. So in the meantime, Josh is ready to give up. But in the meantime, they decide that they'll get him a job so that he can survive out here in adult land. And they do a fun scene in like a diner where they're looking through job adverts and he's acting like a weird kid.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like that appropriate for kids to do this, but I don't know. It's whatever. Kids left to their own devices are sure to be eating ice cream weird, but it's just weird seeing Tom Hanks like with ice cream all over his bloody face. I don't know. But yeah.
Again, it would have been plenty charming without Pink Floyd, like
just screaming about money.
Not sanctioning this. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they find a job for him to interview at Macmillan Toys, a job in computers. Now, because this is 1988, jobs in computers mainly involve like data entry into a window, MS-DOS kind of interface. Yeah. And it's just so... This was fascinating to me, seeing what like a job of computers involved at this time, or at least in like a Hollywood movie kind of view into it. But yeah, it's hilarious the amount of like the amount that he can obviously bluff his way into this job and then pull it off while still being a 13-year-old boy. It's great. It's just this is when we get into an interesting, equally horrifying thing, is just how easy it is for this guy. And it may be because he's a white man. Maybe. It could be, yeah.
Yeah. Just, you know.
Yep. Could well be.
Like, the girl in 13 going on 30 wouldn't have had it this easy.
No, probably not.
No.
Oh no, that's another layer of like horrible to this movie that I just didn't even think about. God damn. Oh, but yeah, he like bluffs his way through a job application over Us and Them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a very bizarre job interview where like there's like some Laurel and Hardy kind of like back and forth involving or like Abbott and Costello, whatever it is. The like who's on first kind of thing.
Yeah.
Happening, where he's talking about like which college did you go to? Oh, George Washington. Oh, GW. I went there, etc. Like that kind of thing. Like misunderstandings on both sides, kind of conversation. Very good.
Yeah, I like. Did you pledge every day?
Yeah. Yes, every morning.
Yeah.
I do like that energy. Going to college and pledging to your fraternity every single day.
Yeah.
That's quite an experience. I like that. But yeah, Susan's also introduced here. We don't know her name or who she is at this point, but yeah, she comes in to complain about another staff member. She'll become important later. Yeah, she's like sort of just a strung out office lady at this point.
Yeah, it's interesting to becoming like the second lead as she's introduced very unsympathetic.
Yeah.
She's not like saving any cats or anything.
No, she's just complaining about a fellow like employee of the company and asking them to be fired.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh man, it's pretty bleak. But yeah, he like starts the job, which is like, startlingly capable of doing. And like pulls up to do some computer work. And who should be sitting next to him, Gareth? But it's yet another minor role of John Lovitz, savior of the podcast, friend of the podcast, John Lovitz. Call me John. Get on the horn. Get on the pod. I want to talk to you about what was your favorite role, John Lovitz, please.
Yeah. What do you think about Pink Floyd?
But he loves Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
I hope he does. Oh man. Yeah, shout outs to John Lovitz in this. He plays a typical John Lovitz kind of character, and that he's like a little bit sleazy, a little bit like a little bit weird, hanging out. He's a schlubby kind of guy working at the 9 to 5 at this job, and he doesn't want Josh to work too hard, otherwise it'll make everyone else look bad.
Yeah.
Which is another like crushing indictment of adult life. It's sort of implied that like everyone in this office is working to the bare minimum so that they can get by, and that's just like they've been crushed down by the system, right? So to this point,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's a stark contrast between kid life and adult life in this movie, and John's here to help exemplify that. But yeah, happy to see him. He says this really weird line about a lady being like real easy, and if you say hello to her, she'll crush you with her legs or something to that effect. Or like she'll wrap her legs around you so tight she'll crush you. And Josh is like, wow, better stay away from her then. Which is very good.
I would have loved it if it had panned over to just like this huge pair of legs and like she's dressed like a gladiator and it's just like, I will destroy.
Yeah, it's just the like Monty Python foot that's on the screen and nothing else.
And John Lovitz is like, that's what I like.
Oh yeah, give me some of that, baby. It's my John Lovitz.
Crush me up, Monty Python foot.
Later on in the dance floor, we just see him dancing with this really big foot.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's really good.
I want to commission an oil painting of that.
John
Lovitz dancing with a foot.
With a giant foot. Oh, wow. Oh. That'd be harder to explain than this podcast, I feel like. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, here he is, our boy. But yeah, we cut to Josh running to the coffee machine and he bumps into Mr. McMillan, the boss of the whole thing. The McMillan of McMillan Toys. And also Susan and Paul here, who are characters that we are still yet to be introduced to properly.
Yeah.
And yeah, McMillan's like impressed with his hustle at this point. He's like intrigued by him. He's like, good on you, son. You knocked me to the ground, but you did it in a way because you're trying to work hard. And I respect that.
All these other slackers have barely knocked me to the ground. You're putting in the effort.
They're barely putting up a stiff breeze.
Yeah.
I remain steadfast around my other employees. But you, boy, you've got chutzpah. You got. I like this version of McMillan. I don't know where this is coming from, but anyway.
He always wears springs on his back, just ready to get knocked back down.
Yeah. What happens now? We've got to cut from this heartwarming scene to another harrowing scene. Josh calls his mum on the phone, posing as the kidnapper or Josh's captor. This is awful.
Yeah.
It's sort of, Josh is coming from like a place of innocence, I guess, like wanting to talk to his mum. But this scene is like it's from a full-blown horror movie. Like, she's like trying to negotiate, get him to like get Josh to talk, but obviously Josh can't talk on the phone because he's an adult man. And yeah, like, gets him to prove that Josh is with him by singing a song from Josh's upbringing that she used to sing to Josh, which is Memories, I believe. But yeah, it's awful. She just like haggardly weeps down the phone in response. And then, he's like, oh, I've got to go.
Yeah.
This is awful. This is like...
Yeah.
I don't understand how this is supposed to be funny. It's just...
The implication as well, like this kidnapper has already learned this song, because it's no pause like, hey, Josh, teach me that song.
Well, no,
it's just like, oh, I know it.
So she's saying like, okay, prove to me that Josh is in the room with you. And
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
and she's like, okay, what song did I sing to Josh when he was growing up? And he's like, okay, give me a minute, because he's trying to remember what it was, because he's a bad son.
Yeah.
And then he sings it back as if Josh were singing it to him.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
it's awful. It's like a harrowing sequence.
For sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
poor Mrs.
Again,
Baskin.
very dark with Pink Floyd.
Yeah, it's not okay. It's not okay, guys. The Floyd they know what's up. They know how awful this is. We're like at the tail end of Us and Them when this happens. It's like the Us and Them plays over all of this like new job kind of scenario.
Yeah. Which is good because it's got the lyric about being ordinary men, and what's more ordinary than getting a job?
What's more ordinary than John Lovitz, you know?
Yeah, the most ordinary man.
The ordinary man. The man that all men are molded from.
Yeah.
Wow. So he gets his first... we end up at the end of this track with him like watching some TV in his hotel room, and there's more like gunfire outside, but he's just like tuning that out now.
Yeah.
And then he gets his first paycheck. Josh gets his first paycheck, and it flips out because it's $180, which is big money for a child to get. Presumably, like minimum wage in America or something at that time was around this amount. I don't actually know.
I assume so. No, never.
But yeah, he flips out about it because it's more money than he's ever seen in his whole life. And so they go to the bank and get all the money out in singles and spend it all on like crappy toys and pizza and have a big party, and they spend it basically all at once, as you would do if you were a child.
Yeah.
They apparently go on a boat ride, which I only caught because we had subtitles on. I didn't know that.
Oh.
Which I would have loved to have seen that. Just these guys just hanging out on the river, like Billy and Tom Hanks just having a good time. You know?
Just the two of them, and Billy's trying to like captain the ship, and it's just like sinking, and they're like, ah!
Yeah, it's good times. And they're having this like little house party kind of thing, shooting silly string all over each other. It's like fairly heartwarming, this bit. And so Josh goes with still probably some money, goes to the toy store the following day that he works for, and wanders around, plays with some toys, plays laser tag against some random kid called Jordan, which I thoroughly like. I just like that this guy gets a name. In the movie. Just here to play laser tag and hang out. It's very good.
There's nothing better than a name for a minor character.
Yeah.
Like, Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Crazy Ex-Girlfriend are really good at it, where they'll just like, the characters just have learned a minor character's name and say it, and for some reason that's really funny.
That's great. It's always good to, because of course they have names, these minor characters.
Exactly.
It's so much worse whenever you see anyone in the credits and it's like person one or like skateboarder or something like that. It's like, come on, man, give these people names. It's not that hard. Go to babynames.com.
Yeah.
Even if the name doesn't match at all, that's arguably funnier, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, little Jordan here playing some laser tag. Where he should show up. Brain damage starts up, and old mate Mr. McMillan was walking the floor of his department store and comes upon Josh here, who's like enjoying the store, and then he's like, "Walk with me, boy. I've got to explore my store. I walk the floors every Sunday," or whatever it is. And he just sort of walks around to check in on things, which I think is a good like boss move, to try and like understand your own business, just to like hang around and get a feel for what's going on in the store. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. They sort of bond together because Josh understands kids' toys because he is a kid, and has all these good ideas about how like toys should be changed, or like things that have changed that he doesn't approve of, he doesn't agree with because he's a kid, you know?
Yeah.
Like, why doesn't this move anymore, etc. And so Mr. McMillan's like intrigued by him and impressed with him and his ingenuity. And yeah, we get into the brain damage chorus and the organ kicking in when Josh steps on this floor piano. Have you ever seen one of these in real life? These like big sprawling carpet pianos?
No, I have a feeling they might be putting one in Auckland in the April school holidays, but so far I haven't seen one.
Okay, so I have.
Yeah, how about yourself?
I have played on one of these
yes.
before. I don't remember where. I was very young at the time, but I am a piano player. Fun fact about James Barron. And it's so much harder. It's way harder to play a floor foot piano than a real piano, guys. And these guys are savants. These guys nail it. They can play even like Heart and Soul and Chopsticks, which are the two songs that they play together. I would find incredibly difficult to play on one of these, even though I know all the notes by heart ingrained into me. But like, yeah, it's a very impressive performance from Tom Hanks and Mr. McMillan here.
Oh, heck yeah.
It's very good.
Especially they had doubles ready who were like proper dancer pianists who could do it.
Yeah.
And like Tom Hanks and McMillan were like,
nah, we're up for it.
Nah, let's do our best and try to get this. And that's actually them in every take.
Wow. That's really impressive because they bloody nail it, what's more.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like ADR, like fixed and post in terms of like the sound that we're hearing, but it still looks good. They're hitting all the right notes, at least.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I do want to point out at this point that, because I watched this clean the first time because I hadn't seen it before, Mr. McMillan, when they change from playing Heart and Soul to Chopsticks, he says Chopsticks to like guide Josh to like, let's play this next, let's play Chopsticks now. And he just like sort of growls it to him. He's like, it's the weirdest delivery of the word chopsticks I've ever heard in my life. It's just like, chopsticks. And then they start playing chopsticks. It's so great. And I just wanted to point that out. I loved it so much.
That's awesome.
And yeah, they draw a wee crowd behind them. And yeah, because they bond over this even more. And yeah, like because of this interaction, Josh gets massively promoted up to vice president of the company, in spite of only working here for 1 week. Wild. Mr. McMillan, like, cool it, mate. That's an insane business move.
Yeah.
Like, I get that you like this guy, but I agree with moving him out of computers because he's wasted there, but damn. Vice president?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like I'm in Paul's camp on this one.
Yeah. I'm putting it back into big privilege, thank you.
Huge privilege. Huge.
Yeah.
Paul is insanely pissed off about this. We get a shot of him talking to Susan, and they're doing like a sort of customer feedback thing. There's a screen in front of them. This is all very Mad Men, actually.
Yeah.
Seeing like customer interactions based on product feedback, effectively, right? We see these kids running around behind a glass screen in front of them. And yeah, he's like really annoyed because he's been with the company for ages and hasn't got a promotion or whatever. And Susan's like, well, he seems good, so I don't know. And we get into Eclipse now as Josh talks to Billy about like things going really well for him, basically. Like we see his new office. We've got he's got a secretary, Mrs. Patterson, who is wonderful.
Yeah. Deborah Jo Rupp, I believe.
I recognize her from Third Rock from the Sun, and no, not Third Rock from the Sun, from
That 70s Show.
That 70s Show. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she just turned up in WandaVision as well, and made me very happy.
Sweet. Yeah, no. She's wonderful. She's a great actress. But she's like very repressed assistant character in this whole movie. She doesn't deliver a line that isn't stressed out throughout the whole thing, which is great. But yeah, she just sort of has to roll with Josh's like insane demands about like editing the Super Bowl out and stuff like that. Wants to watch like a clean cut of the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
crazy. But yeah, so we go now to Paul with Susan in her apartment, and they're trying to figure out where Josh has come from over the tail end of Eclipse here, and we get right at the end of the song. We see the carton of milk the zoom in on the carton of milk with Josh's like face on there and him as a missing child over the heartbeats. It's great. Very dramatic ending here.
Like even Pink Floyd are like, this is too messed up. We got to stop for a second.
Guys, this is actually what's happening. The subtext, please. They know what's happening in this movie more than the makers of the movie did. They're like, come on. But yeah, we get going into playthrough 2 now. Paul is presenting a new toy design to the board of directors here at Macmillan Toys. He's presenting like a sort of robot that turns into a skyscraper a la Transformers style. It's huge. It's a massive toy. It's like of the Empire State Building, I guess, that turns into a robot. I think it's pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah, this robot would listen to Pink Floyd.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's all about big business. But like destroying it from within to become a robot. Like, that's what
if you ever
Pink Floyd's all about.
Turn off all the sound and like aircon and stuff in your building. If you can hear some gentle humming, your building's a robot that likes Pink Floyd.
There you go. That's the truth.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Josh like puts his hand up like he's in class and says that he doesn't get it, much to the chagrin of Paul. And basically he doesn't understand what's cool about a robot turning into a skyscraper, because a skyscraper is such an inert thing. It doesn't move around. It's nothing exciting, which is fair enough. But it's not like, I still think it's kind of cool. And he suggests robots turning into bugs, which is a thing that did end up happening with Transformers. They definitely had robots turning into animals. Beast Wars is basically what Josh has invented here, which is great stuff, by the way.
I loved Beast Wars more than Transformers. Like, dude, I was totally. Like, hell yes, a gorilla.
Yeah, man. I'm all about the Waspinator. That's that's my whole aesthetic. If I could
shout out to the Waspinator.
Shout out to the Waspinator. Wow.
This episode brought to you by the Waspinator.
Yeah, just in case you didn't think this podcast could get any more niche, well, here you go. Specific Beast Wars characters. Perfect.
He had the best voice, or the worst voice. He was so great.
Oh, he was a lot. Great.
Yeah,
great
he was more
show.
stressed than Mrs. Patterson.
Oh, totally, yeah. He was like the second in command. He was like the Starscream equivalent, right? From the like Decepticons kind of vibe of the Beast Wars.
So,
he was the second in command under the like dinosaur bad guy or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I don't remember that much about Beast Wars, but anyway.
I guess in this universe, Josh creates Beast Wars.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And fair play to him for becoming rich and successful because of it.
Yeah.
Because great idea.
He gets Mrs. Patterson to voice Waspinator.
Yeah, so this whole like meeting, again, very Mad Men for me. And then like it's not the same time period, obviously, but it's like a bunch of people in suits talking about like an idea, and I get a similar kind of feeling. But I just find it really funny that they're all talking about robots turning into bugs. I just would love a scene in Mad Men where they're just like, so the robot turns into the bug? I just want to see Lane Price say those words, all right? That's all I want. But yeah.
Oh, you can map it out as well. It'll be Pete Campbell's idea that it's a building.
Yeah, and it gets shot down, and then
Peggy's the one who's like, bug.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's the perfect Mad Men episode right there. Mad Men invents Beast Wars. Oh, incredible. But yeah, Paul is upset. He's shook by this whole thing. He got like his whole pitch turned upside down in one meeting. And he thinks it's like a personal slight against him at this point. He's been paranoid about Josh from the beginning, but now that he's like messing with his pitches and stuff, it's become very personal for him. And however, Josh, like because of this, becomes like ridiculously rich and invests in like a corner loft apartment in New York City.
Yeah.
This place is stunning. I would live here.
Oh my god, yeah.
This looks fantastic. This reminds me a lot of the New Girl apartment as well. It's lovely. It's later on he has a trampoline out here, and this stresses me out a lot. But like at the moment, it's great. But But yeah, he buys a bunch of like toys and arcade cabinets and stuff to fill it with. However, over this montage of him like buying all this cool stuff and enjoying adult life, we get another awful thing. We get
Pink Floyd. No.
Well, no, we love Pink Floyd.
Yeah,
we love it. Yeah, we're getting this like ransom note style letter that he's writing to his mum, being like, actually, I'm doing fine. It's a lot like summer camp. I get to watch TV, I get to go outside, and it's awful. Like this monologue over top of the sequence, like really, it's such a juxtaposition. He ends the letter by asking his mum to give a kiss to his little sister, and it's just, it's awful. It like,
because she's got to be picturing this being written at gunpoint.
Yeah, right.
Like, yeah,
he's like, the way the tone of it is like could easily be like understood that he's under duress writing this letter, but it's just coming from a place of like innocent kid stuff. He's trying to reassure his mum that everything's fine from a genuine standpoint because that's how he feels. But she is interpreting it that like the captors are telling him to say that everything's fine when obviously it's not. It's awful. It's so horrible. Imagine receiving
and we're getting
that.
it very close to how the mum experienced because we have to read it as subtitle.
Oh my god, yeah. It's rough stuff. Oh, yeah, this like for me this movie is like it's like a comedy movie that thinly veils a horror movie or a like drama that is like Gone Girl levels of fucked up. You know? It's awful. But yeah, and for this sequence as well, for this montage, etc., we are midway through On the Run, and that is like pitch perfect Pink Floyd sync for me. Like we're at the most chaotic point on the album for sure, and we're getting this like wildly juxtaposed scene. It's great. It's premium sync there. From here we go to the office party in the movie where like I guess this is Christmas? I don't know. It's like it's a big drink that the office is getting together and having. I'm not sure. There's like Josh arrives in like a big white tuxedo with tails. Is it a tuxedo still if you have tails? I don't know. He looks absolutely insane, but of course Macmillan is like all good with him because he's his darling boy who comes up with the good ideas. He invented Beast Wars and made the company millions. And we get the crash sound and On the Run mid-party here, and it doesn't align with anything, which I'm okay with because earlier we had a really good sync with the crash sound, and later on we're about to as well, so I'm happy with this. But yeah, Paul is at the party, drunk off his ass. I want to go back, sorry. The crash sound does align with something just for me alone. It's John Lovett's having a little groove on the dance floor with the giant foot, Gareth. There you go. He's out there. Shout outs to you, John.
Still grooving.
You're the crash sound and On the Run. Yeah, still grooving.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Paul's like very drunk and still complaining and whinging about Josh, and so Susan goes over and decides to talk to him to try and like understand what is going on with him, basically, I think. Try and like figure out who he is. Goes over to talk to him. Josh is at this point eating this mini corn like it's a full corn cob because he doesn't know how to do that. I think that's a great gag. I love that.
Yeah, that was Tom Hanks improvising, apparently.
Amazing. That's premium stuff. But yeah, she has like a wee chat with him and like gives him some compliments, which he doesn't understand, obviously, by using like vocab that's out of reach for him. And offers him some caviar, I believe, which like Tom Hanks tries and hates immediately because he's got a kid's palate. And they decide to leave early.
Yeah. So interestingly, this is when like the Tom Hanks character kind of crosses a line in a way, and it leads into his villainy in You've Got Mail, where he famously eats all the caviar.
Oh, right.
So if he'd never tasted sweet caviar, maybe
As a 13
maybe Tom Hanks wouldn't be a villain.
Do you think it's the same guy? It's the same character? He's like lived through this like extra 30-year-old part of his life and then has grown up to become this awful corporate person who owns a bookstore.
Ooh.
It's this like a carryover character.
Yeah, I can't see why not. Because we don't really know much about the dad in this movie. We know more about the dad in You've Got Mail.
That's true.
Yeah. I think without doing any research into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Canon.
Why not?
That's canon. Why not?
Yeah.
In fact, all Tom Hanks movies are canon.
Yeah.
Oh no. But yeah, anyway, he's had a crazy life, this boy.
Yeah. All that time on that island?
Yeah, forget about it. So yeah, they hop into a limo and Josh thinks that's like the coolest shit ever and starts like messing around with all the different parts of it because that's what he does. He's kind of a weird kid in general, actually, in that he's like constantly fiddling with stuff. I don't know if I was like this when I was 13. Maybe I was and I've just forgotten. But like his whole deal is that he's like constantly intrigued and playing with toys and messing about all the time with something, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I've just forgotten.
It's strange though, because him as a kid, that character, or that actor's not doing that.
No, he's so low-key as a kid. He just sort of sits there and is not able to figure anything out without Billy's help.
Yeah. It's interestingly, have you seen Shazam?
I have not seen Shazam.
Shazam is a movie where a kid gets the ability to be bigged.
Okay.
Every time he says Shazam.
Sweet.
And it's pretty good. It's got one amazing joke.
Oh.
But again, the kid in that, when he's a kid, he is kind of mature and grown up and kind of like edgy and troubled. Right. But once he becomes this kid in the adult body, he's just fun-loving and like goofy. And it's like, I wish the kid got to be fun-loving and goofy as well, because it would carry over for the character a little bit.
Yeah, but that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, at least he's not being like horrible and creepy. Like,
yes, true.
You got to take what you can get, honestly. Like, you can take some like character incongruity in there, if like so long as the like adult version of this child is not being horrible. Like, I think that's probably worth it at that point.
Yeah. What if the sequel to Shazam is he has to face off against the villainous Josh from Big?
I love that.
Yeah.
Someone who has the same powers as Shazam, but is using them for like evil and doing all kinds of awful, debauched things. Damn, that's going to take Shazam in a completely different direction by the sounds of things.
Yeah, take the whole DC world in a new direction.
Yeah, well. Oh no, I hope not. I hope Shazam have a better idea of where they want to take things, you know, because that sounds too dark for me. Anyway, let's get back to it because we've got more horrible things to happen. Yeah. Josh is like hanging out in the limo, goes out the skylight, and like they have a good time in the limo. And then they go back to his house or his apartment, his cool loft apartment. Yeah. And there's sort of a more misunderstanding stuff happening where Susan's like basically thinking like, well, I'm not. She's trying to be like, I'm not coming back to your place to sleep with you, and he's like, you mean stay over? Like coming from a place of like complete lack of understanding. It's really weird. Again, like already at this point, I'm like,
yeah,
but it's gonna get worse. We've got So they go in and his apartment's full of toys and memorabilia, and he's got this sick like Gumby chaise lounge or something. This like I don't know how to describe it. It's like a lounge chair or like a beach lounger that's in the shape of Gumby, which is I want that. Like that's so good. Do you like Gumby?
I don't know anything about Gumby.
Gumby,
other than he's a chair.
He's this plasticine man. And he has adventures with a plasticine horse who is his friend.
What?
And it is the wildest, trippiest show that has ever been conceived. It's so wild. There's a lot of like psychedelic stuff going on in Gumby that's worth analyzing. Check it out, listeners.
Is there a Gumby movie?
There is a Gumby movie. I believe there's a Gumby movie.
Ah,
I think I've
yes.
seen it, and it involves like Gumby's in like a band with all his friends, and they're trying to like
Gumby?
they're trying to like
Heck
get the they're trying to like put on a concert, but something goes wrong. Gumby has key antagonists that are the two blockheads, and they look similar to Gumby except they've got like dice for heads, like big red dice.
Oh, no.
And they're nasty boys, and they have similar powers to Gumby. Wherein they can like go through walls with plasticine magic and stuff. It's very good.
Wait, what?
It's a crazy show.
Oh, yes.
It's worth checking out. Go watch Gumby.
Yeah.
It's good shit. But yeah, that's why I'm so intrigued by this Gumby chair. I was like, hell yeah. He's got like a Pepsi machine as well, which gives out free Pepsi. Honestly, Josh is living the life. He's like kind of got adulthood on lock, and that he's got all this like great stuff in his apartment that seems fun. It's just like it's like a bachelor pad, honestly, except for the fact that he has a bunk bed. Like, if you take that away, I feel like there are definitely some people out here that would have this exact same apartment and be stoked. So...
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like definitely like it looks like the games room at Google HQ or something. Like, you know, like they're just giving out free Pepsi and you can just go on the trampoline for a bit if you want. Yeah. But yeah.
Sit in Gumby, have a snooze in the bunk bed.
Yeah, man. That's just what they do. I don't know. But yeah, they do a bit where they jump on the trampoline with Susan, and yeah, this stresses me out massively, just because they're like up in an apartment, right? There's floor-to-ceiling windows, or at least very large windows that they could easily fall out. The trampoline's right in the corner. It's stressing me out from a safety perspective. I'm like a dad.
That's interesting.
Hovering in the corner, just angry.
See, this was when Pink Floyd seemed to like unbutton their shirts a little for me, and I found their music was making this a lot more like a wonderful, free, joyous scene.
Yeah, we're getting great gig over this. Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, great gig. First, the screams were, how horrifying is this?
Yeah.
This one, they were like, well, you're getting to bounce on a trampoline.
Okay.
We're okay with that.
So this is like a joyous view of great gigs vocals.
I think, for me at least. But then, when was the last time you were on a trampoline?
Oh, God. I don't remember, honestly. A long time ago. I do love trampolines. I think they're great. I was never allowed one as a child because obviously they're insanely dangerous. But I went to after school care back in the day when I was a child, and there was a roster thing that you could sign up. You could put your name down for 15 minutes on the trampoline, and you could do the same for the computer and play computer games, but only for 15 minutes at a time, so that everyone could get a go. And so I gamed the system, as I was wont to do as a child, because you weren't allowed to put your name down multiple times in a row, which of course. And so I would put my name down 15 minutes on the trampoline, then 15 minutes on the computer, and do that ad infinitum for the whole day. So every 30 minutes, I was either on the computer or on the trampoline. And that was my day.
What a day! That's amazing.
Yeah, man. I was getting my exercise. It was like me working at Google. I was just out there, just doing a bit of work, bit of time on the tramp, Yeah. So there you go.
That's incredible. That sounds like the perfect day.
Yeah,
but also 0 to 100 constantly.
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, I came home exhausted. But yeah, you got to play around the rule set, That's like, that was the rules that were in place. And so in order to get maximum enjoyment, I was doing that. So, yeah.
Good on you. I went on a trampoline about a year ago.
But yeah, did you have a trampoline growing up?
Oh, yes. Okay, so this was essentially my podcast training, is my brother and I would jump on a trampoline and pretty much do this, make up fan fiction about our favorite TV shows.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, we'd pretty much just plot out whole episodes while having a bounce. We had one with springs, though, and the springs would constantly come flying off. And not hit me that often, but often hit him, the poor guy.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You're just better at spring dodging.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I got to go on a trampoline a year ago as well. There was a spring-free trampoline at this Airbnb that our friends were at for a wedding.
Oh, right.
And I think it was the fact that we had to get off it, and then we didn't get a chance to go on it again, and then the whole country went into lockdown.
Oh, no.
So I've been, jonesing for another bounce on a trampoline. So that's why I was just like, throw safety into the wind, Susan and Josh.
Yeah,
like,
man.
This is your chance.
No, you're totally right. In general, I think it's like, this is honestly the most wholesome interaction between Susan and Josh in the whole movie.
Yes,
And like,
yeah.
I'm advocating for it. I think it's like a really good time. You're totally allowed to be jumping on the trampoline as adults, I reckon.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Should we start a weird church that's like
What?
trampolines for abstinence?
What?
Because, if they just like bounce on the trampoline, this movie would have no trouble.
I guess so.
And I mean, they don't have have sex this night because of the trampoline.
That's true. They're worn out from bouncing.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Bounce away the urges, gang.
If you're not bouncing, you're not bouncing.
Yeah, you got to bounce closer to to heaven.
Yeah. Bounce closer to God. Oh no.
See, it sounds creepy and repressive and like bad until you picture a whole church where everyone's on their mini trampolines.
Yeah, that's good. Trampoline church is something that I could get behind. You wouldn't be able to hear the sermon very well, was the issue.
No, yeah.
But I feel like it would be close. It's like, I do like the combination of like church and jazzercise though. If I could get fit going to church, that's an easier sell for me. Yeah,
that's wild that that's not happening. Get fit at church.
Yeah, get fit at church.
Yeah.
I can see the poster that just says that. We'll make millions, Gary.
Sweat away the Satan.
Whoa. Yeah, that's good. That's real good. Oh. Shredding away the Satan. Man. Yes, anyway, they don't have sex. It's great. She gets into the old the bunk bed, lies there on the bottom bunk, and Josh like jumps up to the top bunk and gives her a little cereal box decoder ring as a gift, straight out of Captain Underpants. Great stuff. And this is when the slow bit in Great Gig is when this is happening. So that's all good. Yeah, the tempo slow down. Ooh, that bit.
Yeah, ready for bedtime, really.
Yeah. Same. Yeah, go to bed. So yeah, we get the next morning. Paul's being an absolute jerk, driving Susan to work, and Susan's like become more attuned to Josh. She's like likes him more as a person at this point. She's thinks like because he wasn't like a weird creep when she went home with him. She was like, oh, this guy's actually cool. But yeah. Yes. So, in order to take out his frustration on Josh, Paul challenges him to a game of racquetball, I think, or like squash or something.
Yeah, one of those indeterminate 80s yuppie sports.
Yeah, the repressed sexuality sport of the 80s and 90s. Yeah, he's so angry and just wants to beat him at a game so to make himself feel better. And like changes the rules on Josh and uses that to like start a fight with him to like actually punch him and stuff. And yeah, so they get into a fight like playing keep away with the old racquetball or whatever. And then Susan consoles Josh, like applying some like first aid to him. I hate this scene because it's very like mother and son energy, which is no good.
No, yeah, like. Let's say you've made this film to be like, yeah, but the 13-year-old gets it.
He fucks, yeah.
You don't add in a mother and son vibe.
No, it's no good. You don't do that.
Yeah.
She gives him a wee, like, peck on the cheek, and it's like, oh, you'll be all right, son. It's like, oh, no. And then, yeah, she goes and, like, dumps Paul, like, takes all the stuff that he had at her apartment and drops it off to him, and then... Yeah, he throws back in her face that she's basically sleeping around the company, or he says that she is, in order to get ahead. It's pretty rough stuff. Paul sucks, by the way. He's a bad guy. Not nice. Not a nice man. And yeah, we got a really good part now, because Billy's back, and I'm very happy to see him. They go to this Italian restaurant for Josh's birthday, which I'm loving. I want to go to this restaurant. It's like big teppanyaki energy where they have to like throw the dough into the chef's mouth and he catches it through like a tambourine that he's playing.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Oh.
I want to go. This looks like a lot of fun. They get all the people out and they sing Happy Birthday to Josh as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
A song that doesn't work to the tempo of Money, I tried.
I wish.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do the whole Happy Birthday song because that's like a classic thing in movies where you can't sing Happy Birthday because it's under copyright. Wasn't paying close enough attention to it because we had Pink Floyd playing at the time. But yeah, probably not. Yeah, it's so good, but again, there's this layered subtext of like in the background that this is a birthday that Josh is having while his mum thinks he's kidnapped.
Yeah.
You know, this is like she has to go through this day, which would be her son's birthday, and she hasn't seen him in like a month at this point. It's awful.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, he's having fucking like tossing dough into an Italian man's mouth.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, it's no good. But yeah, this is the turning point between Josh and Billy's relationship, and that Josh is like starting to turn away from him and taking to adult life too well, and forgetting that he was once a kid, and starts pushing Billy away to deal with adult responsibilities.
Sends poor Billy out onto the streets to go hang out with his other mystical friends.
Yeah, his little frog friend.
And yeah. Goes over to old mate Susan's house.
Yeah, goes for a date. There's a real awkward situation where they like she invites him in and they just sort of sit on the couch for like 20 seconds and then decide to leave. I don't know why this was in the movie. I guess it's to show like he's like an awkward kid who doesn't understand what to do in these kinds of situations. But it sure is awkward, and it's a very weird little sequence. But anyway, the date starts going well. They do all the like stuff at the carnival. They go to the carnival, Gareth, where where he does all the stuff that he couldn't do when he was a little kid. He goes on the roller coaster and has fun there, and like I guess plays some other games. Probably wins. There's a cut sequence probably where he wins that like strength competition. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Tom Hanks wasn't strong enough to hit the bell and they had to cut it. I don't know. But anyway, we get into Us and Them, and there's some big band music playing, and they go and have a dance. And as we pull away from them, going off to dance to this music, we see that the Zoltar machine is here. This is the same carnival. It's just moved to New York. So, oh my gosh, this is where the Goosebumps chime would play, and we cut to an ad break. Yeah, there's a whole brass section playing, and they're having a bit of a boogie down here on the docks. This is a lovely date, by the way, this like carnival situation.
Heck yeah.
Looks like a lot of fun.
If someone takes you on one of these dates, listeners, you're a lucky person.
Yeah, for sure. It's cliche, obviously. Like, but it would be fun. You're going to, like, it's a shared activity. You're going to the fun fair. Like, it's a good time, you know?
Yeah.
Lots of opportunities for good vibes. Yeah. I like
Unfortunately, in Christchurch, New Zealand, you have to wait all the way until the last Friday of November for the next fun fair.
Oh, man. Don't tell me that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How am I going to have fun until then?
Oh. You've just lined up like 15 dates for that one day.
Oh, man. The speed date of the carnival. I'm just like constantly running across to different rides where different dates are waiting for me. I'm not like that, listeners. That's not real. I'm trying to like build my brand up on the podcast.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, I would never do that. Absolutely not.
No. A James Barron date, you're getting to go on multiple rides with James Barron.
Absolutely. Let's do it all. We'll go to the fun fair. It'd be great. If someone wants to line up a date for me for November, I'd be down with that. Absolutely. Whatever. I don't know. Anyway, Susan is like falling in love with him at this stage. They like get really close to each other on the dance floor. She says that she's been like, I've been thinking about you in my car and in my bed. Which is like, oh, like, I don't know. That's not very subtle, Susan.
No.
But yeah, things are about to get real gross. When I watched this for the first time, I legit was covering my eyes like this was a horror movie. They get back to... They do a wee kiss out here on the dance floor, and then they head back to Susan's apartment, and she, like, undoes her blouse, takes that off, and, like, they make out. He, like, awkwardly touches her boob.
Yeah.
This is horrible. I don't know.
This is so messed up. And, like, it's again, this is it where I was like, surely they're not going to do it. Surely they're not going to do it. And I was just yelling at the TV.
Yes. I was yelling like there was like a horror, like a scary ghost creeping up on someone, and we, the audience could see it. I was yelling at my screen. Like, no.
Yeah.
Look out. Like that, and covering my eyes, because this is the worst thing. I can't believe that this is in the film.
Yeah. You know how everyone hates 2019's Cats because of the implication that these are
horny cats. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
a movie with something much worse, and everyone still loves it. It's like
wild, yeah. This is
bonkers.
So much worse. Yes, it's implied here that they have sex. That they full on have sex, because there's like a scene the following morning where Josh like strides into the office like with a spring in his step or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Like that cliche thing. But yeah, it's gross. He's a 13-year-old boy who has had sex with a 30-year-old woman, and there's no way around that in this movie.
No.
That's just reality that we've been smacked in the face with. Okay, thanks, filmmakers.
The thing is, like, I feel bad for Susan. I feel bad for Josh.
Yeah.
I feel bad for, like...
It's bad for everyone involved.
Yeah. It's, like, it's interesting because if they'd made the character older initially, they could have... it still would have been gross. But he had to be young, so there's the comedy. Because then, like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way you could have done it. If you wanted to, if you sat down at your typewriter and was like, I'm going to make a film where this kid gets it, there's no way you can do it and make it okay. You're going to have to be, like, sure, cast these incredibly likable actors.
First of all, weird way to start a script.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no good
Page
way of
one.
doing that.
Okay, I'm going to.
Yeah. We're still going to catch you. Like, there's no, like...
Yeah.
We're going to bust down your door and be like, nope, not okay.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd warned us, and we're here to take you down, all right? This is not a good thing to have in a film. Bad.
Yeah.
Bad Hollywood. Anyway, yeah. We're getting us and them over that horrible sequence.
Yeah.
And I have nothing more to say about it.
No, gosh.
So he's back in the office. He high-fives a mailman here, and I'm pretty sure he says, "my man."
He does, yes.
Is this is this where Rick and Morty gets that reference from this movie?
It's gotta be. There's no other way.
Yeah, like, it's straight up ripped from that one episode of Rick and Morty. It's just a reference that I never put together, obviously. Yeah, it's great, okay. I was like, whoa, okay. It just whiplash after this horrible sequence where I was covering my eyes. I was like, oh, okay, something that I actually know? Wow, weird, okay.
That's probably why it's in Rick and Morty, is it must have stuck in some writer's mind because it was like the first line after a bonkers scene.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, you know how, like, if you almost crash a car, you maybe, like, the first sip of Coca-Cola you have tastes, like, extra strong or something.
Yeah. If all your senses are massively heightened because you're in fight or flight mode. Is that a thing? Am I saying that right?
Fight or flight,
right? Oh my god, yeah. I'm frightened.
I'm always in fright mode.
There's fight, there's flight, and there's fright mode.
Yeah.
Which we operate in almost exclusively.
Yeah.
So yeah, we cut back to Billy's house. No, before this we see that Susan's relationship with Josh is developing well. There's a bit where he like helps out a kid with algebra homework, and there's a lady like, he's a keeper, and it's like, okay. And yeah, back at Billy's house, they finally get the info from the government department that they ordered for the fairgrounds and all that information that they were after 6 weeks ago. They're like, it finally arrived, so that they can find this Zoltar machine and put an end to Josh's predicament. Great. And yeah, meanwhile, Josh gets given a project where he has to design a new line of toys for Macmillan Toys, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know what to do." But it turns out he has a great idea, and that's electronic comic books, which are like choose your own adventure comic books. So you get to the end of the page, and you get to choose what's going to happen out of a set series of things for the character to do next. So sort of like Dragon's Lair meets a comic book, which is pretty cool, honestly. I think that's a good idea for a toy and would probably hold up at the time. So I don't know if it was real, like Beast Wars ended up being, but like, seems sweet. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
Susan's feeling really weird about the relationship and approaches Josh about this. And is like, what is going on? Are you having an affair? What's the deal? Presumably because they aren't having sex anymore, which I am so happy that they aren't. I hope, or maybe they are, and it's awful. But she's weary about the relationship anyway. And Josh is like, "Shut up, man! I love you. Whatever. I like you. I'm a child."
Yeah, that's essentially what he does. He just like giggles and is Tom Hanks, and she's like, "All right, never mind."
He throws like his papers at her, and she's like, "Oh, okay, actually, you're great." Yeah, it's showing his like lack of emotional maturity pretty clearly on display. But anyway, apparently that's fine for Susan.
Oh, Susan.
Yeah, man. Billy bursts back into the office and tries to drop the list off over brain damage. He's here with the documents, but of course Josh is too busy with his newfound responsibilities at the job to even like pay attention. And it sucks because Billy's like losing his friend like completely to this like other life. He feels like he's changed, and it's like, no man, you're a 13-year-old boy. What are you doing, dude? But Josh is like, nah man, I've had sex now. Like the world is open to me. I'm a changed man forever. It's awful. But we get after this, there's a very weird sequence which I want to talk about, where we revisit the computer game from the opening. I don't know why this is in the movie. Like, Susan is asleep in bed, and Josh pulls out the little disc with the fucking Melt Wizard game on it again, and has a wee go at that. And it's like, what? It's supposed to be like the triggering factor for him to be like, yes, I remember my old life as a child 6 weeks ago. How great that was. Like, it's so weird to have this be the thing that makes him remember, and not his friend Billy coming in and talking to him.
I guess you could say it's like, oh, finally I get the chance to relax and finish my game without taking out my family's endless amount of trash.
Yeah.
And like he's kind of like, oh, it's actually not what it's all cracked up to.
Never mind.
But yeah, you're right. It's like, why this?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. But yeah, following this sequence, there's like a montage of him going back and looking at his old neighborhood, wandering around. Adult Josh. He's walking around his neighborhood and looking at kids having fun while wearing a massive trench coat. Like, come on, man. Like,
Do you think someone's pranked us and loaded the wrong like movie into Disney Plus or something just to test? Like,
yeah, man. Disney Plus. Like, is this a joke? Am I on candid camera right now?
Where's Aston Kutcher?
Yeah.
Am I being punked?
Am I being punk ' over here? Ashton, get on the pod. I need your take on this. It's so weird. It's so weird. Like, even in the 80s, this would have been like, come on, like, this is a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But like Oscar winner or Oscar nominated for best script.
Oh man. I mean, it's a script.
Yeah.
Like, if you're taking it as like a comedy / horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got nostalgia for his old life. And this whole like pervert sequence syncs weirdly well with brain damage playing over it. This slow, like sad song playing over him looking and having nostalgia for his old life. Like, this is like a thing that Pink Floyd's all about. Not being a pervert. I want to make that explicitly clear. Just having nostalgia for your past and exploring your youth, I think, is what this album explores a lot. So that works for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, having no control over the time and it just rushing past you.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brain Damage and Eclipse and like mostly in time, but I feel like definitely same themes through Brain Damage, so I'm pretty happy with that. We get into Eclipse, the second playthrough here, wrapping up. We got it's another fucked up scene as Josh awkwardly over dinner decides that it's time to reveal to Susan that he's a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah.
This scene is like another sort of like misconstrued situation where she thinks that he's making up this like egregious, insane lie about being a 13-year-old boy, effectively saying that he's not capable of being in a relationship with her, or that he's not emotionally mature enough to be in a relationship with her or something like that, and is breaking it off with her, and she's really frustrated by that, where Josh is like, no, I'm 13.
Yeah.
So... yeah, it's, again, like, this is supposed to be funny, I think, but it isn't. It's awful. It's an argument between two people ill-equipped to deal with this situation, and it's rough.
Yeah.
He does say that Zoltar, the machine, and the guy in it, has a face like a devil, and I don't know, I feel like that's a little harsh on Zoltar. He just had like...
yeah, poor Zoltar.
He just had some glowing eyes, which is like devilish, sure. But like, he just looks like a regular dude, really.
Yeah, he's got a handsome chiseled jaw.
Yeah, he's got great jaw action with his opening and closing mouth, actually. So, you know, come on. Like, shout outs to Zoltar. You're doing fine. You're not a devil in my book. Sure, you like put a curse on a small boy, which is pretty devilish, but you know.
But he gave the small boy exactly what he needed when he got very vague instructions.
Yeah, right? Yeah. He interpreted a vague wish to the best of his ability. And, like, he's more a genie than a devil. I don't think Zoltar deserves his hatred here. Anyway. Yeah, we get into playthrough 3, baby, as, Billy hears something. This is a very sad sequence. Billy hears something over his radio, and he thinks it's Josh on the other end, but it turns out to be just Josh's mum, who's just up in his room and like looking at his stuff, looking at Josh's stuff. Josh has been gone over a month at this point, and it's just it's so sad. Billy's like, it's gonna be okay, and she says he had a birthday, you know. It's awful. This is nothing but sad.
This poor woman.
Lasting psychological damage because of this situation.
Yes, for sure.
Like, there's nothing funny about that, Tom Hanks. Okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's heartbreaking. And we get at that over like the intro "Speak to Me" into "Breathe" as well. So there you go. And yeah, Josh. Billy goes for a final ultimatum with Josh. He's like narrowed down exactly where the Zoltar machine is. And he's like, it's right here. It's where you went on that date with that 30-year-old woman, okay? You need to go down there and do your thing. And it's like, this is my final act as your best friend, is basically what he's saying. And it's like, damn. It's great stuff. Great stuff from Billy here. Love it.
Again, Billy... Where was Billy's Oscar nom? For Billy of the Year.
Fucking A. Supporting actor, at least. He nailed it. Like, come on, man. Oh, especially later when he's getting this hot dog. I'd love this. I love that situation. But anyway, this is just before...
that's right.
This is just before Josh's big presentation of his comic book. And so they go and do that over, like, there's, like, some dialogue here which I think triggers Josh's decision where he has to make... Someone says, the kid makes his own decision? And Josh is like, I gotta make a decision. Now, which is a little ham-fisted, but whatever. He decides to like leave the meeting and go and undo his big curse, and something weirdly twigs for Susan in this moment as well, who like figures it out at this point. I think she's like, what is going on? Like, he's had this weird situation ever since we had that argument about him being a 13-year-old boy, and now he's left this meeting. I feel like she figures it out in this moment, or thinks that she knows something's going on anyway. And decides...
I read it as she figured it out.
Okay, but anyway, she like decides to chase after him. And outside, Billy is ordering a hot dog. I love this. He's like, well, I've done this thing with my best friend. I'm in New York for the day. I may as well get a hot dog. I love it. And like the hot dog vendor, he sees Josh go into a cab, and he's like wanting to run over and be like, oh, yo, go Josh, go undo your curse and return to me as a 13-year-old boy. But the hot dog vendor's like, hey, don't take that hot dog without paying.
Yeah.
I just love this really small interaction where he returns the hot dog. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so real.
Yeah.
Because
that's all the hot dog guy's going to care about. He doesn't care if, like, there's a curse.
No, it just felt like really genuine in this movie. I really love this interaction. And this is why Billy deserved the Oscar nom, because he's method as hell. For
sure.
Like, he's lived this experience. Oh, what a hero.
Yeah.
But yeah, they gets in the cab and goes down to the Zoltar machine, and Billy tells Susan basically that's where Josh is headed, after being like, you're his girlfriend? You're a 30-year-old woman. That's weird. Because Billy knows what's up, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
So here we go. We get in the end of the movie here, pretty much, the like final few scenes. And this sequence, this like playthrough of the movie is so well synced from jump, basically. It's getting out of control from here on. We get a tire screech sound, which perfectly syncs with, like on the run, it syncs with the cab pulling up to this like abandoned water park kind of area from the date earlier. Perfect sync there. I was like, what? Immediately at this stage. On the Run is still playing, where there's like some laughter that starts playing as we see the Zoltar machine. And then the bloody crash sound aligns with him walking up in front of it again. Like, that happened the first time, and it's happened again, Garrett. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
And like, because I call these generational syncs.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that kind of has made sense, where it's like, even in a different age, in a different lifetime, the sync remains. Yeah,
man. This On the Run is Zoltar's theme. Like, whenever he's showing up in the movie, or whenever this interaction between Josh and Zoltar is happening on screen, we get On the Run. Like, if that's not a sync, I don't know what is. Like, that's really impressive to me. We get the time clocks ticking in, and he puts the money in sync with all the clocks going off, which is pretty sweet. And the deal is done. Like, the wish is made. And so Susan arrives just too late and sees the Zoltar machine in the background, and in that instant realizes, I guess, that it was all true, and that Josh is indeed a 13-year-old boy. And this is some weird goosebump shit going on. She like picks up the card off the Zoltar machine and sees that his wish was granted. And she takes this news like surprisingly well, as like I guess the writers of this 80s movie could only do at this point. She full on had sex with a 13-year-old and is pretty okay with it at this point. She says that, maybe in 10 years come back and keep my number. Hit me up.
That
sucks.
The most messed up.
That's no good.
Yeah, that's grooming, my guy.
Yeah, that's no good.
Susan? Yeah.
No. You don't keep the number of someone that you went through a Goosebumps book with. That's like that's like the rule one.
That's on the last page of every book, is someone tearing up all the phone numbers they got.
Oh my god, yeah. I don't want to hear from you, scarecrow who walks at midnight. All right, get out of my phone
I'm
book.
changing my number, Scarecrow.
Stop calling me. I'm not coming back to the farm. Oh, man. Oh, it's no good, yeah. It's a massive yikes. But yeah, Josh like offers the idea here as well that she could go back in time, or like she could go to be use the Zoltar machine and turn into a 13-year-old herself again and live through it. And she's like, nah, I've done that once. I don't want to do it again. You don't know, but you'll soon find out.
Yeah.
He's yet to have his puberty story told live on a podcast, so he doesn't know yet.
I thought for sure that she was going to, or she was going to reveal that she'd also been bigged.
Oh,
and then it was like going to be, oh, okay, it's not as messed up. But no, it just remains messed up.
That would be a massive relief. But
yeah.
Yeah, that's giving the movie way too much credit. Oh, man. But yeah, it would be a wild twist as well. They'll never see that coming in a million years. But yeah, she's like, okay, I'll drive you home to your childhood house. What's this? Your mum thinks that you've been kidnapped and I'll drive you directly outside your house? Sure. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, she's definitely on a watch list now.
Yeah, she's not allowed back in Jersey.
But anyway, yeah, they say goodbye to each other, and then Josh turns back into a little kid in like a full adult-sized suit, which is a good image. Honestly, it's very funny. And yeah, he turns back perfectly in time with the tempo change in time, which is incredible. Yeah. Like the thought I had something more to say, and then it just goes like into the slow, chilled out version is exactly when he turns around and he's a kid again. Unreal. Yeah. And yeah, after that, the line "Home, home again" plays, Gareth.
Yes.
And he's home.
Yeah.
He's back. He's back in his old life. Amazing. Yeah, home again. And yeah, he runs back to his mum, who has lasting psychological trauma, and we get some credits rolling over Josh and Billy as young kids again, and I breathe a sigh of relief for what feels like the third week in a row. But yeah, what did you think? How did it sink, Gareth?
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Wow. Like, we have to give props for this, worried music helping us feel the worry that we felt. Like, it helps us put it into words and tunes and stuff. Yeah. Like, Pink Floyd were freaked out watching this. And yeah, there were some quality syncs. Like, man.
That's the thing.
Times,
Like, the thing about this album is that it's dealing with some stuff, Yeah. It's an emotional album. And I think that this movie, unbeknownst to itself, is dealing with some emotional stuff in a similar kind of vein, right? Yeah. It's dealing with a lot of similar themes, but one handles it way better than the other. Yeah. That's my take anyway. So, I agree with you. There were a lot of good syncs, like a lot of a generational sync in there, as you saw, and then just a surprising number of good syncs. So I'm inclined to give it a good rating. In spite of it being a rough watch. I'm
willing to kick this thing an 8.
Oh, an 8. Yeah.
Do you feel that's too high, too old?
That's pretty old.
Okay.
Like, I feel like I really want to do like a big rating where it was once a 3, but now it's an 8. Like, yeah. But no, yeah, I'm fine with 8. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, I think like out of the movies we've watched, absolutely, it's definitely up there.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, we'll have an 8, but in brackets, it has the mind of a lower number.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's another number masquerading as an 8.
Yes.
But we don't know what it was. We don't know what number it was.
No.
It's something lower than 8, but 8 is what it's being represented as.
Yeah. Sometimes you yell out 8 and the 8 doesn't turn around because it's not
really 8.
Called 8.
Yeah. That'll happen.
All right.
Oh, so you're going to reveal... All we have to do now is reveal what the special thing is coming up next.
Yes.
Gareth, you want to introduce that?
Oh my gosh. So if you listeners enjoy numbers, you'll notice that this is episode 49 of this wild thing.
Unbelievably. 49 episodes under the belt. We've been doing this a year, basically, at this point. Incredible.
Yeah. Wow. So therefore, I think we've promised it in a previous episode. we've held up a lot of things to the lens of it syncing to Pink Floyd, but we haven't it's easy to critique, but we are not providing the world with something that syncs with Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon.
Right.
So next week we're going to give you the official commentary of Dark Side of the Moon to enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be able to and you'll be able to sync that recording up with Dark Side of the Moon perfectly. There'll be a countdown at the start, probably following some kind of beep test scenario where you can exactly sync it with Dark Side of the Moon, and then listen along with us in your earwaves. And and then if you listen to it, I want you guys to write in and tell us how you thought it synced. Like if we if we synced up, and then we can mark it on the graph.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Please do. So yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Next week, the official Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon sync track.
Yeah.
As a 50 episode special. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, until then, there's nothing really left to say except follow Pink Floyd on all your favorite things at Pink Floyd Pod.
Yeah.
And I've been Gareth Blacklow.
No, I've got one more thing I wanna plug, and that's your upcoming show, Gareth.
Oh, you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Gareth's doing a live show at the Covert Theatre coming up in May. May 19th to the 22nd, I believe.
Yep.
And he's there with his improv crew, the Love Lamp crew out there doing a bit of comedy. So go down and see him if you're up in Auckland at the Covert Theatre.
Oh, yes, please. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, tickets are at comedyfestival.co.nz.
Yeah. Definitely didn't want to skip that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But yeah, as you were saying.
Oh gosh, well, yeah, I've been Gareth Blacklow.
I've been James Barron.
And stay away from Zoltars, and we'll see you on the Dark Side of the Moon.
On the dark side of the moon.